Welcome to Paige's Lessons, a podcast dedicated for those who seek advice and wisdom on how to become the best versions of themselves in the most authentic way. If you identify as someone who is ambitious, goal-driven, and a badass, you've come to the right place. Self-reflection, mental health awareness, and exploring life's transitions is at the heart of our conversations because I truly believe every single day provides a lesson. I'm your host, Paige Mitchell, a board-certified life coach, motivational speaker, and mental health advocate. I can't wait to share these golden nuggets with you. In today's episode, let's discuss some real-life scenarios when your boundaries are being crossed. Now, I'm going to be going over some examples of when you maybe felt like your boundaries were being violated or just you didn't really know what to do. I received these through both Instagram and Facebook Messenger, actually. People coming up to me being like, hey, Paige, can you discuss this on your episode? I don't really know what to do. And if you have any topics that you want me to discuss and go over, head to the link in my show notes and you could message me on Instagram or leave a comment on TikTok, send me an email. You know, there's plenty of ways to get a hold of me, but I'm happy to go over any topics or questions you have that's related to mental health and self-development or building your dream lifestyle. But let's get into some real life scenarios. So one person messaged me and they said, you know, sometimes at work, I feel like people are pushing their work onto my plate. And I don't really know how to say no without coming across like a bitch or an asshole. So what do we do just in a work situation when a colleague or someone is just kind of like slowly like pushing their load onto yours? That's a really good question because as an admin, when I worked Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, this was a while ago, but I was an administrative assistant for a really long time. And yes, I had my duties that I had to, you know, complete every day. But as an admin, people just threw shit at me all the time. Like, oh, can you do this? When it was not my job description at all. And back then I was in my early 20s. And to be honest, I could not vocalize saying no. Saying no was like the biggest no, like you can't say no, Paige. Like I felt like I wasn't allowed to say no because if I said no, oh shit, like I'm going to lose my job or I'm not going to be liked. The people pleasing was hardcore, folks. So I don't know if that's you right now or maybe you can reminisce of like, oh yeah, I remember when I was a people pleaser and let people walk all over me. That fucking sucked. But so if there is someone at your job that is giving you tasks that do not fall under your job description, and it is literally theirs, I mean, first clarify that with your boss. You don't need to tattletale on the person at all and say, hey, this person's giving me their work. But literally communicate first with your lead, with your supervisor of like, hey, can you reiterate for me again or show me from like the job posting, like show me evidence of what actually falls within my responsibilities. And so you have that in black and white just so that there's no confusion like, oh shit, maybe I am supposed to take on so-and-so's work, right? First, just clarify from a business point of view from like your supervisor or manager to clarify that. After you have that in black and white, then you can reevaluate, okay, so there's still this pattern that this person gives me their shit. So first ask yourself, you know, how, if I'm going to address this to the other person, what do I want them to know? How much do I really want to express my feelings? Now, we don't even need to tell the person like, hey, you're being an asshole, or like, you don't even really need to share your full expression, but there is some level of like, hey, I just double checked with my duties and this does not fall into mine. I am happy to give you my time and energy in maybe this certain department or this time frame or, set a boundary with yourself of what you may be willing to help them with, but not taking it all. So that is going to take some clear communication for you of what are you willing to accept, and then what are you going to communicate that to the other person. If it becomes a really fucking big issue where, they're still giving you their shit, that's where you bring in the big dogs and you rope in their supervisor and your supervisor. Don't be afraid of, bringing in that shit, because someone's fucking being hey, I think, for whatever reason, they're pushing their work onto you. We gotta step up. We gotta own our power. We gotta, speak up for ourselves, because no one else is gonna speak up for you. This is a perfect opportunity to really communicate. Hey, this isn't cool. Hey, I'm not going to accept this anymore. And I'm going to communicate this with this person to stop giving me their shit. It's all about intention. It's all about how you want to communicate this to the other person. But it really starts with you. When we make a boundary, it's about yourself, of what am I willing to tolerate? What is okay and not okay? And just because now there's another person involved, we're not doing that. So people in a work setting pushing their work onto you, get clear in your responsibilities, get clear on their responsibilities, have the communication, and if you need to, go to the higher ups. Another situation that I was messaged is kind of feeling guilty when someone's maybe pressuring you to do something and you don't really want to do it. So this person that messaged me said, let me read it back. It said, I need help. I'm desperate. Can you do this for me? When someone's maybe asking you a request, and then maybe putting in some you used to do this for me, or would just kind of dangle a carrot in your face. And that's a really good one, because we do want to help other people. At least I do. Maybe that's not for everyone, but when I see someone struggling and if they say they want help, I will assess what is my capacity to help them? How much can I really help them? Or is this something that they need to help themselves? So I would just say, if someone's actually guilt tripping you though, you used to, or I'm desperate, or kind of playing a victim mode, that's where you need to step in and assess what is my relationship with this person? Why am I feeling this guilt? If I don't do their requests, what's that going to say about me? What's that going to say about our dynamic? And the shitty truth is, if you don't follow through with that request and they give you shit for it, or they blow up in your face or whatever, that's not a true friendship. That's not a true relationship where both of you meet each other as adults with respect. Point blank, anyone that is guilt tripping you for anything and you saying no, that is your fucking boundary. That is you standing up for yourself. So it could be this could be your mom, this could be a boss, this could be a friend, your partner. They could want you to do something that you just don't want to do anymore, and that's okay. Or if someone, like I said, if they're guilt tripping you, purpose or non-purpose, have a conversation. Hey, when you requested this, it kind of made me feel like shit. It made me feel this way. Can we approach this differently? How can I help you without this feeling of guilt? And that's to the level of both of y'all's rapport, right? Of how comfortable are you to discuss your, how you're feeling guilt tripped. And in a way where you're not blaming the other person. It's not I'm going to point the finger, you make me feel this way, but it's, I'm feeling this way because of this is the situation. So really this whole episode talking about boundaries and, it's ultimately about communication, but really with myself of what do I want? How do I want these relationships to evolve? How do I want to speak up for myself, right? even people that are asking you like questions like, oh, well, why are you single? Or people trying to diagnose you, or just other people trying to put you in a box, right? That's even a boundary crossing too, because it's like, bitch, you don't know my fucking life. So there really comes a point of, where's my empowerment here? How much do I believe in myself? How much do I want to stick up for myself and advocate, you know what? This is what I want. This is the life I'm choosing, and that's fucking what it is. Like, it comes with such confidence, and it takes time. It really does. The more that you love yourself and heal yourself, the empowerment will come. But if we don't love ourselves, and if we are not addressing our truest desires and communicating that with other people, we're fucked. Because no one can guess what you want. You have to stick up for yourself. You have to communicate it. I'm going to wrap up here because it's coming up on 10 minutes, and I promised that these episodes are going to be short and sweet. So those are some examples of some boundary crossing. I would love to hear more examples. Like, feel free to send me a message of what's going on with you. I'd love to give you some advice and some insight on how to deal with it. Thanks so much for listening to Paige's Lessons with me, Paige Mitchell. You can find me on several social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all using the same handle at paigemitchell.coach. Got any questions about the show? Send me an email at connect@paigemitchell.coach, located in the show notes. And if you really like the show, don't forget to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening to this so you don't miss an episode. Please make sure to leave a rating and review, because I love hearing your observations, takeaway, and personal journey. Remember, every day provides a lesson. You got this.